Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Digital Nomad World weekly series. I'm Becky, and I'll be your host. And today we're going to be talking with Cristi Garavito about Madrid, Spain as a digital nomad destination. Cristi, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Becky, for having me. Hi.
I am so excited to talk with you about Madrid. And it's interesting because we met in Buenos Aires, Argentina. We've already covered that place on the show. And I know you have a really good connection, a really long connection with Buenos Aires. But when
Right.
I heard you'd moved to Madrid, I was like, we got to talk about this.
Yes, of course. Yeah. I'm happy to share my thoughts and my experience in Madrid. And of course, Buenos Aires is like my first nomad spot, let's say. But yeah, I'm happy to share what I've learned so far here.
Yeah. Because if I understand it right, you are now living there like full time. You have a certain type of visa, which we'll talk about. But
That's correct. I did get my residency in February, and I've been here for ever since, and I'll be here until the end of August. So it's gonna be kind of my residency, like between Mexico and here, but I'm still nomading, but I'm kind of here full time now.
yeah, I know some nomads, they do get a base and they're working towards perhaps another passport or a type of permanent residency visa, but they also like still nomad, of course, for digital nomads. That's what we
Yeah.
do.
That is the main reason I'm here because of the passport and trying to get this, the second passport, but also because it's such a nice country to live in, which I mean, it'll be a good choice to have as an alternative other than Mexico or other country, right?
Exactly. And we're going to get into that. But first, I would love to hear about your background and how you first started your digital nomad journey.
All right. I went to university in Buenos Aires in Argentina, as we were speaking, in 2007. And I spent 5 years there. And I got my degree as a translator and started working online. So after I graduated, started working online in Argentina, I was like, okay, I know the language, I know the country, I know the city, and I can work from anywhere. So the main reason I became a nomad at that point is because I wanted to add another language to my degree or to my curriculum. And I moved to Germany to study German and I could work online. But at that point, it was 2000, I don't know, probably 11 where I started doing it. It was not a common thing. So I was like the weird person that worked from a computer from like a Starbucks or whatever was like available to work from at those, in that time. And I started studying German and working at the same time. And then once I was, I finished German, I'm like, well, I don't have to stay in Germany or in Austria anymore. I can go anywhere. And it's funny because as I was in a co-working space in Austria, I met this guy that suggested I'll go to Chiang Mai in Thailand because he said it was a great place for people that work online and travel, which at that point, I don't even think we had the name of digital nomad. We were just like, people that work from their computers. And he suggested that place, sent me a link with a bunch of co-working spaces. And I'm like, what is this beauty where you can work from and people, have similar backgrounds or are working, online and traveling. So I did. I went to Thailand for the first time. And I think that's when I officially became a full-time nomad. And that was probably 10 years ago, I think, my first trip. So then I made like my group of nomad friends, including some friends that I think we have in common that we met through. And then I started doing my nomad life from there, like started like traveling, to the summer countries during winter, and vice versa. And I've been nomading ever since. So I've never had like a normal full-time job. The way I started wasn't like, oh, I need to get out of this 9 to 5 lifestyle and find a work. Actually, it was the opposite. Like the work kind of made me move around and the need to learn new languages. And then I incorporated that and now we're here.
I think it's fantastic that you thought about, learn English, learn German, like this kind of unusual Spanish to German translation has
Yeah.
to be a way that you can get some good jobs online.
Talk about niche, right?
Yes,
Niche
yes.
market.
For those of you listening. Also, for those of you listening, we also have an episode about Chiang Mai itself. And I would agree with Cristi. It is one of those places you go and you feel normal as a nomad there because it is the norm in the center of the city and so many places to work. And I don't know if that's true of Madrid necessarily, but that's a kind of another charm of Madrid. I think, as you go
Yeah,
in and
I don't
you,
think Madrid. I think Chiang Mai because it's such like, it has such new neighborhoods with new places, co-workings and coffee shops. Some of the neighborhoods are designed to cater to nomads, and you can see because, the spaces, I mean, it's insane. Like coffee shops have like super fast Wi-Fi, have really comfortable seats. Like they work out their deals where it's good for them to have people working whether like paying per hour or like having minimum consumption, like whatever is where it's good for the business. And nomads just flock there to start working there. It's comfortable, it's easy. It's just like a city that caters. Whereas cities like Madrid, they're all like an older, cities, older neighborhoods. It's hard to cater to nomads because infrastructure, all that. But you can make your own nomad hub in a city if you find it.
yes. And I think, speaking of infrastructure, Madrid is really good at this. Like they have a big metro system, a lot of buses. I believe they have 5 terminals at their airport. Is that right?
I think so. Yes, 5 terminals and everything is connected. Airports, bus station, train station, city center, and it's very walkable as well. Like the only time I take the metro is either I'm going to the airport or some one of those bus train stations that is further away, Chamartin, because I'm right next to Atocha. So like Chamartin, and then otherwise you can walk. It's a very walkable city, and for me, it's a very important a very important thing to have in a city is to be walkable. As a nomad, you don't usually have a car. And public transport is good, but if you can, we also talk about our privilege where I'm working a co-working space, I go to a restaurant, I leave, everything happens in the center, like I don't commute. So the fact that you can walk everywhere, it just, as a foreigner in a city and as a nomad, it just increases your life expectancy here.
Oh, yes. And I know that a lot of the roads are very well paved. It's not very hilly as a city. I
No.
live in Lisbon part of the year,
Oh,
and both of those things are not true in Lisbon. So we have nice,
exactly.
World Heritage tiles. They're recognized, I believe, by UNESCO, but it's not that safe to walk on them, especially on a hill. But Madrid, it's so nice to walk there.
It is very walkable and not hill at all, unlike Lisbon, which I love Lisbon, but sometimes they're like, oh, it's 80 meters away, but 90 minutes up. It's like, sometimes it can be complicated. Here is very walkable and very like pedestrian friendly, I believe.
Yes, yes. Okay, so we mentioned that there were 5 terminals in the airport. Let's imagine we're coming into Madrid for the first time as a digital nomad. What are some things that you might want to bring with you to Madrid that would be hard to get in Spain? Do you have anything
Mm,
that you can't get there or that's super expensive there that you should bring from the
I
outside?
was I was thinking about that question because every time I like go to Argentina or I go to Thailand, and Argentina, I make sure to bring all my electronics and beauty products and like you can find, and if you find them, they're super expensive. Or Thailand, it's like clothes, beauty, certain things that you need. I think for when I was packing for Madrid, I made sure obviously computer, charger, everything. Although, their prices here are very similar, to like prices in Europe, the average. And I was thinking about what to bring that I couldn't find there, and like I could find in Mexico that I couldn't find here. And I mean, all I brought is mezcal, and they even have it there. But no, but honestly, it's such a well-connected city, and it's very easy to get Amazon, like local shops. They cater to everyone. Like they even have, because it's such an international city. They have products from like every country, so it's really easy to find products. It's really easy to find technology uh, you know, clothing, food is for me, nothing on the top of my mind that you couldn't find here. Unlike, because I understand your question, there's so many countries that you have to make sure you bring so and so, like you have to bring cash or you have to bring electronics because you're never going to find them or beauty products, even clothes. But here it's such a well-connected plus I don't know, like I don't think there's anything you can find here. It will be like way more expensive than other countries.
I have to shout out the fact that you guys have an Apple store. Lisbon does not.
Uh-huh.
So if something happens to my Mac urgently and I need a brand new Mac, I might end up going to Madrid. So
I had
Madrid
no
is
idea Lisbon they have it.
Yeah, Madrid is great for that. There's an Amazon Spain.
Mhm.
And I know, so I'm wearing this dress. People have probably seen me wear this on a few episodes. This is from Uniqlo, which I recommend to every digital nomad. And you guys have a Uniqlo store in Madrid.
In Gran Via, yeah.
Very cheap, very affordable, but also very functional clothes.
Very good
So
quality.
the fact that you have a Uniqlo just blows me away. And
Hmm.
like you said, I do agree with you. I think it's you don't really need to bring anything you except something from your own country that is very particular. Madrid's
Yeah.
got it all.
Yeah, I
So
think so. I don't think it's lacking anything. I had no idea, for example, Lisbon didn't have an Apple store. Here they have a huge one in Gran Via, and I believe there's more. But they also have malls, so like huge malls outside the city. So, and you can find anything at any point, I believe.
yeah, I know Spain's a much bigger market than Portugal, but hopefully we're gonna get an Apple store one day.
I'm
But I
sure.
do want to ask you. So we're still arriving into Madrid, and we don't have to worry about what to bring. Madrid has it all. But what is the visa situation? How many days can you stay in Madrid without needing a visa? Are there any visa options that will let you stay longer?
It's the same as all Schengen. So if you're from a country that doesn't need a visa for Europe, you can just arrive and get a 90-day stamp on your passport, and it's ruled by the 90 days in, 90 days out law, where you can get 90 days in 180 days. So once you've been here in your 90 days, you have to leave for 90 days to be able to be back, or just cut it in in like shorter stays. And you can get, well, now this year they started with the Digital Nomad visa, which is one of the countries in Europe that started doing that. And I know a lot of people have been doing that because as a, I think all you need is to prove that you're working for a client or a company outside Spain, that you're not earning money in Spain, but you have to be earning certain amounts of money that they request, and other paperwork, and then you come and then you can renew it here. I have my visa is called non-lucrative visa, which means I'm not working for anyone here. I don't need to work here. So basically they ask you to have a certain amount of money in the bank, and then they give you the residency. The first residency, this is really interesting because I didn't know this until I got here. The first visa or residency the first time you apply, you have to apply in your home country at the embassy there, and that's longer paperwork, longer wait times. But once you're here and you get your residency, you have to go to the police, get your fingerprints, and then you go back and then you get it, and they give you you know, the due date is dependent, on many things, but once you get it, you can actually renew it here in the country. So you have to go to the same office, renew it, and the second time is for 2 years. I believe it's for all visas. Like the first time it's for a year. Well, for these two that we're talking about. The first time you get it for a year, but then you renew it here, and you don't have to like leave the country, go to the embassy again, or do that. And for countries that come, Latin American countries, you can apply for your passport after being a legal residency for 2 years in Spain, similar to what Portugal has with the Brazilian and other countries. So it's a very convenient thing for Latin American countries.
That is incredible. Do you know if that's like all Latin American countries specifically?
I believe all Latin American countries that that were Spanish colonies. So it's kind of it's similar to Portugal and Brazil, but I believe it's all of them, unless I have to fact check this, but I believe so.
Yeah, if you're watching this, just do some checking because if you've never heard this for the first time and you are from a Latin American country, that is incredible. I'm so happy
It
for
is.
you.
Thanks. Yeah, that's like the main goal. So, I mean, it's not a bad country to be in for 2 years
Mhm.
while you get your passport, and obviously be here afterwards too. But getting a second passport and like getting to live in Spain, I think is a good deal.
Yes, and if you have that residency visa, then the Schengen rules for you no longer apply. You can travel to any of these other European countries in the Schengen and stay as long as you want. Of course, also respecting how long you have to be in Spain.
Exactly, correct. So I learned also here that I knew from the beginning I had to be here 6 months out of the year to be considered a resident to be able to apply for the passport later. But what I learned here that I didn't know before is that you can leave the Schengen more the area for more than 90 days at a time. So I was thinking like 6 months here, 6 months, where it's warmer, but no, like before 90 days, you have to come back. It doesn't matter how long you stay at that time, but you can be absent more than 90 days at a time, which is, I mean, is an important thing to know because you don't get that information easily online. But once you start like investigating, then like I heard it from two lawyers now, so I think that's like legit now.
Okay, thank you for sharing. That's really important. Okay, so let's say we arrived in Madrid. We're going to be here, let's say the 90 days. Where would you suggest to find the short-term accommodation these days for digital nomad? Should I look on like co-living websites, Booking, Airbnb? How is the scene in Madrid with all of that?
So I think mostly people find accommodation either in Idealista, which is a website and app that is also used in Portugal, I believe, and Airbnb. Airbnb is still, one of the places to find accommodation. There's people offering accommodation, obviously, in WhatsApp groups and nomad foreigners in Spain groups, which are, I mean, that's, a risk you can take, but I heard of some scams going on with people, requesting money. So first, make sure you will do whatever you will do in any country, right? Like fact check and make sure, you know, everything is legit. But I did mine on Airbnb. I asked for 6 months and it was a good place, well located. You can get good deals with long-term hosts when you ask them to give you a better deal. They're going to say longer, 3 months, 6 months. I think Airbnb and Idealista are the two best places to find a short-term rental. Also around Spain, there's several co-working, co-livings. I did one in Chativa and Javea, San and Co. And it's a super nice area to like go because it's very close to the beach and it's in Alicante province and the house is fun. There's a lot of activities going on. So yeah, if you don't want to be alone, you can look for a nice co-working, co-living. I believe Barcelona has a lot. Madrid has a few too. But if you just want to live on your own, just like make sure you get an Airbnb at least step beforehand. I think it's not like in Asia we can just like come in without accommodation and find because it's a little harder. It's like the demand is really high. So beforehand, make sure you get like a well-located place, have like a nice desk to work from. For me, that's like priority. And if you're getting the residency, make sure your Airbnb host or landlord is able to give you an empadronamiento, which is they have to give you their signature and their DNI to be able to like register yourself with the police in order to get, to continue the residency process.
Okay, thank you for that tip. Okay, now I want to talk about something so close to my heart in Madrid that I think really makes this city stand out. Let's talk about food, Christy, something we
Yeah.
both love.
As
What?
you know, that's her one of my favorite topics. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Madrid food is heaven for sure. It's a really good place to come if you like good restaurants, definitely.
I was blown away by the tacos in Madrid, for one. I was not
Yeah.
expecting such good Mexican food.
Tacos, yeah, I know. There's a lot. I think there's a taqueria in every block. Honestly, every time I'm walking around, if you see a taqueria, I think there's a lot of Mexicans living as expats here that came and did business, and I'm sure a lot of locals too have open Mexican restaurants. But the tacos, right? The quality of the tacos is like good. It's legit. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's
we
good.
went to a place when I visited you there. We went to a place called Tiki Taco,
Tiki taco, yeah, yeah.
and that's
There's
a
several in the
chain.
city.
Yeah,
Recommended. It's like €1 tacos. You get carnitas, suadero, pastor, margaritas for €5. I mean, good thing. Like really good quality. The sauces were spicy one day. Like I really like tiki taco. It's one of my favorite. And there's like I believe 4 or 5 in the city.
yeah. I'm thinking of those hungry digital nomads that don't have a lot of money. I mean, that is a great place to go because it's delicious but affordable.
That's true. And also there's so many places that like local, very traditional places that you order a cañita, which is a small beer, and then you get a tapa, you get like jamon or patatas bravas or anything. Like you can eat, like you can easily eat with having a few beers and you'll get a full meal. Most of the places will give you olives or chips or stuff, but some of the more traditional places will give you a tapa with your drink, which is nice too.
The great part about the Spanish culture in general. In Madrid, if you had to name like 3 or 4 other places that you would recommend digital nomads go and eat while they're there, where would you say?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, I will try the markets. There's so many markets that offer so many good restaurants. Of course, you have like the touristy one that is called Mercado San Miguel next to Plaza Mayor. That place, I mean, I would not recommend the food, but I recommend go have a drink and look around because it's a very beautiful market. But there's a lot of local markets like Mercado de San Fernando, San Anton, that they have a lot of local food, like local restaurants. So San Fernando, for example, in Lavapiés, you have like places that they sell beef, different like seafood places. You can go have a cañita, vermouth, vino tinto, and eat there. And it's like full of locals. It's a really good markets are good because you can choose different restaurants, even if you're in a group and you feel like having different food. Markets are good. Also, there's a street called Cava Baja, which is it's kind of touristy, but still full of really good local cuisine, like very, very old restaurants. You have a restaurant there, a Basque restaurant called La Miac, which is really good. Pez tortilla, which is all type of tortilla patata. You have like Concha, where they have really good vermouth and tapas. At the end of Cava Baja is one of my favorite restaurants called Juana la Loca, which is tapas and are like apparently the best tortilla de patata in town. Really, really good. I mean, you have a lot of variety of restaurants in every neighborhood.
Yeah, it's really such a big city that it's endless, but just to know that all the food generally is good and there's a lot of
Yeah.
affordable options. How would you say Madrid is safety wise?
I personally feel very safe in Madrid. I mean, obviously take into account the basic security measures they will take in any city, right? Like when you have areas that is very crowded, have your back very close to you, that kind of thing that, like just take into account. Um, Nothing has happened to me, knock on wood so far. I haven't heard of anyone, because you hear from people. Like when you're in BA, it's like, my phone gets stolen like 4 times. Everyone else's phone gets stolen, many times. And, there's cities that or for example, like you can walk on your own. In Madrid, I walk back home 3, 4 in the morning on my own. And it's always so crowded that you never feel unsafe, Like I've never encountered anything that feels remotely unsafe. Where it's like being, walking late at night or getting robbed or it's just it feels safe because there's always something going on in the city.
Yeah, I did have a friend there who was from the US, and she said that she had had her phone stolen. I think
Mhm.
just like a pickpocket situation. So, what
Pocket,
I
yeah.
would say, like so many cities in the world, is just keep your bag in front of you, keep it zipped up so that you're always aware. Because, and also like over you with the strap,
Correct.
so somebody can't just
Uh-huh.
run off. I think those kind of things
And
are
make
really
sure your
important.
hand is always like on top of your zip and stuff to not get pickpocket. I heard of, I haven't heard of anyone got a pickpocket here, but it can happen anywhere. It's just especially in crowded places. It's like train, metro, plazas and stuff. Just make sure your phone and your wallet is safe, your documents, your keys. But so far I haven't had any encounters with like anything that felt unsafe.
I'm really glad to hear that. How about co-living, or not co-living, sorry, co-working spaces? Is there good
Well,
coverage in Madrid? Do you have any places you'd
I
recommend?
I think so. I use Croissant, the app that I'm sure you used to, right?
Yeah, I have
Where
one
I
as
can
well.
get co-working spaces. And Madrid is one of the places that has a lot of offer in like different neighborhoods. So basically is I live in Lavapiés, well, La Latina, very close to Lavapiés, and there's one called Blue Chair that I really like. It's really easy to like pop by, you take in with croissant, you work there, it's really nice. Also, there's a few. I don't know if it's in every city, but I've seen it in Madrid, but they choose these like hotel lobbies, these 5-star hotel lobbies that cater to nomads and they make it really comfortable for you to work there and also offer like, drinks and snacks, with your croissant check-in to make it like more comfortable. And I've had a good time. Like I use croissant to go to Blue Chair and to Icon Whipton, this hotel in Serrano, and it's like really comfortable. Service is great. You work there really comfortably. And also, there's a lot of coffee shops that in this, I live in the block that I live in, I have like 4 coffee shops that you can work from.
Yeah, and I also walking through Madrid, the bakeries, the quality of the bakeries you guys have, and the quality, again, to go back to the food, is just so much higher than a lot of cities that you're going to live in, that that is like worth it to be there a month or so by itself, I
Yeah.
think.
And I think it's like affordable comparing to other uh, European capitals. I would call it affordable to go have a coffee, a pastry. The coffee culture here is very strong and pastries all around all these bakeries, but also they're friendly. I feel like not a, sometimes you go to places and you don't feel comfortable working from your computer. Obviously, being aware that you have to keep ordering, because you need to keep the place in business. But I here between 5 minutes from my house, I think of 4 places I've gone to work from, and they're the friendliest, they're really nice and easy, good service, good food. I love it. It's like, I have this one next to me, it's called Adorado Cafe, which is really nice. And then you have another one on Embajadores that is called, I'll look for the name because they changed the name recently. And, Pum Pum Bakery, which is right in front of a Blue Chair, is really easy to like work from there. You have good service, good food. I think it's really comfortable. So it's nice because you can switch from co-working spaces to coffee shops, and it makes you know, your working day much nicer.
Or the five-star lobbies in the hotels.
The 5 star
So
lobbies are
much.
nice. Yeah, like I came in and they're like, oh, with your croissant chicken, you get 2 drinks. It could be wine, it could be beer, it could be coffee. And then they bring you like chips and gummies and chocolates. And it's like, and the service, obviously from a 5 star hotel, super nice. And the positive things, they're open so late because they're kind of like a restaurant bar, but everything is available. You can stay working late. It's really nice.
Yeah. Would you say Madrid is a very late night city? I know Barcelona is. How is Madrid in comparison?
For sure. Like to be able to find food. Some people want to eat 5, 6 o'clock especially when they come from the US or places like that. I'm like, impossible. If you want to go to a good place to eat, the earliest you can get a table to eat, it'll be like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, up to like 1, 2 a.m. It's definitely a late night city. So, business open at 10 a.m., coffee shops, like co-working spaces, 10 a.m., nothing too early. No, and definitely stay up late, like late dinners, late night. You have, bars that open from Monday to Sunday, close 2, 3 a.m. It's a very late night culture.
Are they practicing siesta in Madrid? And like, is everything
Oh,
closed on Sundays? How's that going?
for sure. I keep forgetting, like, I'm like doing stuff like 1, 2 p.m. I'm like, I'm gonna go to the bakery or to my Amazon place to like pick up my package, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's closed. I'm like, oh, it's siesta time for sure. So if you want to eat, you can eat from 1 to like 3. Everything that is good is going to be closed. Of course, you have the typical, like, I don't know, McDonald's, Taco Bell, but everything that is good and local is going to be closed from probably 3 p.m. until like 7 p.m. or siesta. Siesta is sacred though. Like I keep forgetting those times that randomly business will be closed after 3 or so. And then you start learning, you're like, oh no, it's siesta time. I'm not even going to try to like, go anywhere, like, local businesses.
And is everything closed on Sundays as well?
Not like, for example, Germany, everything is closed. And I believe Portugal too. Here, well, all of the shops are open. Restaurants and bars are open, and coffee shops. No, no, Sunday is not it's not like it's not like, Germany or Portugal. No, I don't think so.
Okay, good to know. But also, yes, everybody remember the siesta. I would imagine that's the best time for us nomads to get our work done or really be taking a nap. You choose.
Maybe if you have a late night and you have to wake up early, that's what you adjust to siesta time. There's a reason for it, especially now when summer starts, that you're like, okay, it's hot. Why I'm on the street, everything is empty. I'm just gonna go to bed. It's nice to take a little siesta, and that's the key to stay up so late.
Yes, like get onto the Madrid time and start living your life
Mhm.
like a local. Speaking of locals, how easy do you think it would be for a digital nomad to meet locals or other nomads? Are there a lot of events happening where it's easy to meet people?
I think, for example, the nomad scene is not as big as like Lisbon, where they have activities every week. There is like a WhatsApp group, there's a Facebook group, and there's like nomad lists where you can create or assist different activities or meetups. We did a couple of nomadist meetups last summer with a friend where we were staying here. But you can see in the WhatsApp they have get-togethers. But what I think is easier here in Madrid is to meet locals. Like if you go to a restaurant or a bar on your own with a group, it's really easy to talk to locals. They're very open. They're very used to having foreigners around. It's very easy to meet locals. They're very friendly. I mean, I'm speaking from my privilege that I speak Spanish, right? So assuming, that you're able to speak Spanish, you'll be able to get around. It's really easy to meet locals, you people are very open. That's my perspective of this area I've been going to. It's so you don't feel you don't feel alone. You don't feel like people look at you because you're a foreigner. I feel very integrated, and this, even though the nomad scene maybe is not as big, but I feel like there's a lot of nomads in the city and people are doing their own thing.
Yeah, I do think the locals are very friendly. Is it okay if you don't speak much Spanish in Madrid?
I think so. I think people, I don't know, because Madrid is a big city and they're used to having foreigners. People, I mean, will speak English, some English at least, for sure. But as I said, since I speak Spanish, I don't know, like I'll have to have someone come that doesn't speak any Spanish to be able to prove that. But I believe since it's a big city, you'll have, it'll be easy to get around.
Well, I want to ask you as we wrap up here, why should people choose to come and stay in Madrid and be a nomad there for a little while in comparison to other Spanish cities or other European countries? Why do you love it so
I
much?
believe I love it because it's a very livable city. I don't know if it makes sense, but it's really, once you get here, it's so easy to get around. You have like a coffee shop, a supermarket, a restaurant in every corner. It's very walkable. People are very welcoming. So, it's not hard to the fact that it's not hard to leave, it just makes it so much more comfortable. It's like very lively. There's always something going on. The summer is like, all kind of concerts, all kind of festivals, live music, it's always something going on and it's very, very livable. Well, like for example, Barcelona is nice, but distance are so long. Like, you have to go to the other side of the city. It takes 40 minutes in metro or things that cut a little bit of the joy of life, right? And I feel like you have a lot of culture offer, a lot of diversity, a lot of different things in the city because being such a big city, being the capital of Spain, that's a good thing that has so many things to do. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like a heavy city, like heavy traffic, hard to get around. I think that's it. It's very livable.
Yeah, I had a great time when I came to visit you there, and I was surprised because I didn't know that much about visiting Madrid. But I've also
Mhm.
heard that they've really stepped up with the long distance trains in Spain. They're getting cheaper and cheaper. It's easier than ever to get around to other parts of Spain if you want to take your weekend and see a lot of different places.
That is correct. They added a lot of companies, like two or three more companies, which gave a little competition to Renfe. And then you can get to in the weekend, you can go to Sevilla, Valencia, Barcelona, Bilbao, whatever you feel like going, Toledo. And it's so easy to catch a train. It's like affordable, easy to get around, and you can visit different cities. That's what I've been doing like last weekends, going to different places because it's so well connected and you can visit so many places in Spain and in Europe.
I agree. It's exciting. I'm excited for you. And I hope people watching and listening to this, if you haven't thought about Madrid as a place to be based for a little while, put it on your list because you may think capital city, it's expensive. And, to an extent, that might be true, but it's also a lot more affordable than you might think it is.
That's correct.
Well, Christy, thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything else that you would like to add before we go? And also, where can we follow you?
Okay. I don't know if I have anything specific to add, but I definitely think Madrid is an underrated city. A lot of people prefer Barcelona, but I'll give Madrid a try. It's just a good, chill, cool city to be in. First, because it's not close to the beach. A lot of people don't specifically choose it, but I believe it's a very, like I said before, livable city. So I think you will be happy here, regardless of where you're coming from or what you're doing. And you can follow me on my Instagram. It's at Cristi Garavito. Cristygaravito. And if you want to have any questions, just message me.
Thank you. And we'll put that down in the description as well.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us, Christy. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Bye.